So, hey, wait lang. Records ako sa screen ako. So, hi, good day everyone. I'm Regina.
And I'm Renz Jasper, and you can call me Renz.
I am Ryan Carlo, and you can call me Ryan.
And today we are going to discuss the structure and functions of each part of the eukaryotic cell.
Yes, for both plant cells and animal cells. Woo, this will be exciting.
Yes, to start off, a cell is the basic unit of life. It is somewhat the building block of an organism. Stated in the cell theory, the cell is a fundamental unit structure and function in living things. One or more
Yes.
cells comprise an organism, and all cells
Mm-mm.
arise only from pre-existing cells. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, Ryan, you are right there. And there are two distinct types of cells. These are the eukaryotic cells and the prokaryotic cells.
And
Yes,
today
and
we're
today
going to tackle more of these cells, specifically the eukaryotic cells.
Okay, so what are the eukaryotic cells, by the way?
So, eukaryotic cells are characterized by its membrane-bound organelles, and its DNA is enclosed in a nucleus of the cell, which is of course not existent in prokaryotic cell.
Moreover, eukaryotic
Mm.
cells are relatively larger than prokaryotic cells.
Okay, so I can say that cells in animals, plants, protists, and fungi belong to eukaryotic cells.
And in this video, we are going to focus on the structure of the plant cells and the animal cells.
So
Okay.
both plant and animal cells have the same basic parts of the cell. However, plant and animal cells have other organelles specific only to them. An example of this would be the plant cell's chlorophyll, central vacuole, and cell wall. Although both plant and animal cells have lysosome, it is rarely seen on plant cells and are more prominent on animal cells.
So first we will discuss the functions of the organelles found in both plant cells and animal cells. So let's start with the nucleolus.
Mm. So, nucleolus is a non-membranous organelle within the nucleus where the ribosomes are assembled. It is found in the nucleus of the cell.
Oh, yes. So the nucleus is known as the control center of the cell, right? It contains the genetic material, the DNA, for cell division and protein synthesis, which controls, of course, all of the body activities.
Yes, that's right. Nuclear membrane is the membrane enclosing nucleus. So that is the one surrounding the nucleus, so which is also contained close to the endoplasmic reticulum. It allows entry and exit of some molecules such as nucleic acids and proteins through its pores.
So next is the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm is a gel-like fluid within the cells where all the cellular contents, the organelles, and the cell materials are suspended. The cytosol is a liquid component in the cytoplasm, and which is mostly water with a pH level of 7, but also contains small vacuoles, proteins, and ions.
Also, now the next part is the most, I can say, the most popular part of the cell. So mitochondria, which is commonly referred as the powerhouse of the cell. They are the energy producing organelles of the cell. The organelle where cellular respiration happens, wherein the breaking down of sugars and fats through a series of chemical reactions that releases energy as in triphosphate or ATP.
Yes, so did you know that every time I ask someone what a mitochondria is, I have noticed that most of them describe mitochondria as a powerhouse of the cell. Here is my mitochondria.
Nice.
Big mood. I have experienced that too.
Uh, so yeah, let's continue to the next part. I really find this part of the cell cute. So these are the ribosomes. So these ribosomes are small spheres comparable to mini machines used in protein synthesis of the cell. They are also known as the manufacturing department of the cell, and they are usually bound to endoplasmic reticulum or the nuclear envelope, or in the free floating in the cytoplasm.
Nice. So let's proceed to the endoplasmic reticulum. This is interesting because there are two kinds of endoplasmic reticulum, the rough ER and the smooth ER. And their
Yes.
names literally fit their structure because, as you can see in the model, rough ER has ribosomes on it. As you can see, there are ribosomes attached to it, and the smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. So, it is
Yeah.
responsible for protein production, folding, quality control, and also transfer.
Yes, and the smooth ER with no ribosomes that are attached on the surface, they are responsible for fats and steroid hormones production and metabolisms, right?
Yes, that's correct, Regina. So the next part would be the Golgi complex, or also known as Golgi apparatus or body. So it is considered as the shipping department of a cell as it delivers proteins. It
Ta-da!
receives ER synthesized proteins that it then folds, sorts, and pack into vesicles.
Yes, so next to Golgi complex or the Golgi apparatus, we have the peroxisome also. These are membrane-bound organelles, and these are used in various specialized metabolic functions. These functions include converting fatty acids to sugar and assisting chloroplast in plant cells for in photorespiration. They produce hydrogen peroxide as a byproduct that is converted to water afterwards.
Mm. So the next is the cytoskeleton, which is a network of tubules and filaments found within the cell. So it is used in supporting the cell to maintain its shape and its structure. So additionally, they provide strength, tissue stability, organelle anchoring, and of course, cell signaling.
Ooh,
Which is
so additionally, the cytoskeleton is responsible for providing mechanical support in allowing cells to move and divide. So there are three types of cytoskeletal filaments: microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and then the microtubules.
amazing. So next up, we have the semi-permeable membrane or the cell membrane that surrounds the cell and protects it from its environment. The membrane consists of mostly phospholipids or the phospholipid, which forms the phospholipid bilayer with specialized protein receptors.
But by the way, what does permeability mean? So it means that not all molecules are allowed to enter
Yeah.
the cell.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yes, now we will talk about the organelles found only on animal cells.
So to start with, let us talk about centrioles. Centrioles, usually made up of microtubule triplets, facilitate the separation of chromosomes in cell division.
Yes.
So the next,
Okay.
so, so the next one would be lysosome. Although both found in plants and animal cells, it is rarely seen in animal cells. So lysosomes are considered as the disposal or recycling department of the cell. They are specialized vesicles that contain digestive enzymes. These enzymes inside the lysosomes are for the cell metabolism and transport of large molecules that require aid in crossing the cell membrane. The enzymes then break down large molecules of carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and organelles for reuse and for absorption.
So, after learning about the function of lysosome, we will now explain the functions of organelles specific only to plant cells. So, let's start with the chloroplast.
So chloroplasts, so they are what makes the plant or the leaves of a plant color green. So they are specialized dish-shaped organelles surrounded by a double membrane used for photosynthetic purposes by plants and select type of algae. So those green algae, not the brown, not the red, the green ones. So the chloroplasts
Mm.
convert water, carbon dioxide, and light energy from the sunlight into usable nutrients for plants as an energy source.
So, the consists of stroma, the fluid matrix within the chloroplast, and the thylakoids, which are flattened discs inside the stroma that contains chlorophyll and carotenoid that can capture light energy from the sun for photosynthesis, of course.
Yes, that's what makes plant cell unique from animal cell. And the next
Yeah.
thing is that plant cell do have these large vacuoles. So vacuoles are spheres of plasma membrane that holds fluids, ions, and other molecules. So they are large vesicle. They are just large vesicle fused together. So based on the structure, so plant cells have central vacuoles that help them in maintaining turgor pressure, um, inside a cell by pushing its other contents against the cell wall. So it's very important in maintaining the turgidity of the cell. So that is a vacuole.
Yes, naman to imong vacuole, Ryan. Dako ra ba kay
Lagi,
to? Nindot ra ba kay
I
to
wish
pag
I
kayo
can
mo
show it.
tulong? Sige
Mm.
na lang. Sige, the cell wall is an additional covering of plant cells. So found outside the cell membrane. So the cell wall gives strength and maintains high cellular turgidity like the vacuoles, pero siya outside. The plant cell wall consists of mainly cellulose joined with hemicellulose, pectin, and lignin. Yes, kaya
So,
cellulose nga dili ma-digest sa mga tao. Yes.
so unlike the bacterial cell wall, they do not have peptidoglycan. So the cell wall or the plant cell wall is divided into two parts according to their rigidity and age. So we have the secondary cell wall being the mature and tough layer outside. So when you look at a plant cell, the cell wall is actually divided into two parts. The outside is secondary cell wall, which is hard and old, while the primary cell wall or the one inside is flexible and form outside of growing plant cells. So when plant cells are young, they mostly have primary cell wall.
So guys, we forgot to mention about the peroxisome. So peroxisome is actually can be found in both animals and plant cells. So peroxisomes
Mm.
are membrane-bound organelles used in various specialized metabolic function. So the functions include converting fatty acid into sugar and assisting chloroplast in photorespiration in plants. It also is present in animal cell, but also they have the same function. So they produce hydrogen peroxide as their byproduct that is to convert eventually be converted into water molecules. So that's it.
In addition, also kanina, vacuoles also are can be found in animal cells but not
Yes.
always, and they're smaller than the
Yes.
vacuoles found in the plant cells. Yes.
Yes. I forgot to point that
So,
out. To point that out.
yes. Kinatag yes,
So
no.
should we start our summary right now?
So, to summarize all that we discussed, let's since each part of the cell has its own function or purpose, the parts of the cell can be compared to the parts of a city based on their similar purpose.
Mm.
Ooh.
Okay,
So
so
by
let's
analogy, a cell is somewhat like a city or
mhm.
with area uh, fixed within boundaries.
So it's covering the cell membrane would be the city limits. So it surrounds an access border or wall.
Yes.
Sorry.
Then the cytoplasm, it serves as the environment of the city, or its purpose is the inner space.
Yes, of course, the nucleus is the city hall, which controls the activities within the city.
Yeah, the government.
Yes.
So surrounding the city hall or the nucleus would be our nuclear membrane. So it is equivalent to a police force in our city. So its purpose is to protect our city hall or nucleus.
Yes. And the cute ribosomes represents the farm or a factory which makes products.
And the plasmic reticulum represents the roads or highways as they transport different materials inside a cell, as what the road is doing.
Yes.
Mm. So the one crossing this road would be the Golgi or Golgi bodies. So they act as post office or UPS, or in the Philippines it would be LBC. So they pack and carry nutrients.
Oh, okay. So next, we have the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria, which represents the power plant or solar panels or windmills, which provides, of course, power.
Mm. Next is lysosomes, or they are the recycling plant or waste management system in the in a city, for they
Yes.
recycle and dispose waste.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. So next would be the vacuoles. So they would be like storage facility or boxes, crates, and plastic bags to store cells, food, and waste when in terms of the cellular function.
And then we have the chloroplast. The green
So it's in
grasses
the plant
within the
cell.
city. Ah, yes,
Okay.
is found inside the plant cell, unique to the plant cell, where photosynthesis takes place.
Mm. And lastly, let us not forget another um, part of the plant cell is the cell wall. It represents the brick wall surrounding the city, so gives the shape, the structure, and some sort of protection.
Attack on Titan. Yes. No. Renz, how about you? Can you discuss us or elaborate to us the yung follow form follows function or the structure follows function?
So form follows function defines a possibility that the form of a body part directs the function of that body part. So for example, contrast your arm and your hand with a bat. Arm, arm, hand with the
Arm
bat
and
swing.
hand?
So where's the arm? Arm, arm, hand.
Arm. Alright.
I'm lost. So anyway, so if we compare our arms and hands with a bat swing, so while the bones have, when we compare the bones, anatomically the same, like we have phalanges and fingers,
Mhm.
but they serve very different general functions. So
Yes.
their structures have adjusted to following the functional needs. So in terms of humans, our arms and hands are for grasping and for working and something like that. But for the bats, they are for gliding and hanging on to branches or caves.
Yes.
So that's all.
Wow, that's a wonderful
So,
discussion.
mhm. So form follows function,
Or
and vice
follows
versa.
function. Yes. So thank you so much, Renz and Ryan. I have learned a lot
Thanks.
during our discussion.
Well,
Me
me
too.
too. Bye.